If you can't tell already, I'm from a tiny island off the North Atlantic Ocean called the U of K, and aside from having a population of over 67 million, with over 600,000 of those people being alcoholics, this little island has a lot of legends and folklore written in its history, and arguably one of the most famous ones is the tale of Robin Hood, whose stories have been cropping up since the 13th century. A man who is depicted as a righteous thief that steals from the rich and gives to the poor. And since you guys have asked for more Skyrim videos, I thought I could try to beat Skyrim as Robin Hood. Now, I had to think quite a bit about what rules could apply to this run, and these are the ones I came up with. I can only attain wealth from stealing it, whether that being gold or trinkets to sell, and of course Robin Hood is famous for being an expert bowman, but he's also skilled with a blade, so with that being the case, I can only deal damage to enemies using bows or swords. And as a bonus rule, I have to give away all the wealth I accumulate before I finish the run to people who would need it the most. Let's get started. To change things up from my last run, I've installed a few mods that I'll link in the description. The alternate start mod, and the Robin Hood tunic mod. While making my character, I decided to go with a wood elf, as I thought that since Robin was so skilled with a bow, he would probably be a wood elf if he existed in Skyrim. I chose Outlaw in the Wilds as my start, because I thought that I would start the game with some merry men. But as it turns out, they weren't that merry, so I left to get cigarettes and milk. I find myself a bow from this corpse, and use it to put down a nearby looter. Then I head to Riverwood to pick up my Robin Hood drip, which looks pretty damn good if I do say so myself, and head to Helgen to start the main quest. I read a diary in perfect condition that I found on a melted body, which I would say is odd, but considering the world is being threatened by giant flying lizards that use words to fight, I think it gets a pass. I tell Balgruuf about the dragon, grab the dragonstone from the Brummy King, give it to Farengar, and as is tradition now, I decide to make my first target Nazim and his wife, so I stole all the valuables from their pockets. I head to the watchtower to fight the dragon, and in a stark contrast to my Dracula run, which I recommend you go watch if you haven't already, I actually did decent damage to the dragon and gave him the big suck. I returned to Balgruuf, and then stole everything that wasn't nailed down in his palace. Head to Riften, killed Grelod to save the orphans, and donated some of my gold to the Temple of Mara. Climbed the 7,000 steps, and then jumped my way to the throat of the world so I can just fast travel there later. Then completed my training with Greybeard Miyagi, grabbed Delphine's love letter, and helped her kill a dragon. Then I head to Riften to join the Thieves Guild, because as the greatest thief in Skyrim, I wanted to get the skeleton key, as it would really help me with some breaking and entering. And I get some merry men to boot. So I have a chat with Brynjolf, steal everything from Modessi's box, and frame Branchi for the theft, because according to Brynjolf, Dark Elves make up 15% of the population, but commit 50% of the crime. Murder my way to the Ragged Flagon, then Brynjolf sends me to get some money off 3 deadbeats. I spent ages trying to break Bercy's vase by hitting it with my bow to no avail. Then I tried shooting it and punching it with the same result. Then I used my sword and it broke instantly.
Now that's a lot of damage!
After this, I get some money from this dead-eyed lizard by threatening her family. Then I steal Helga's statue and get the last payment. Return to Brynjolf and get sworn in as a full member of the guild. Then I head off to do a heist on Golden Glow Estate. The first thing I have to do is burn the beehives. And at first, I thought I was being clever by trying to use these fire arrows from the Creation Club, but they didn't work. I even tried up close, and when that didn't work either, I got frustrated and just used flames.
This was arson. Someone arsing around.
Then I tried to pick the lock to the back door to the estate, which happened to be an expert level lock, which surprisingly, I actually managed to pick. And apparently Aringoth hired some blind guards because I just snuck right in front of them and they didn't see me at all. I half-inched a bill of sale, and returned to Maven, who just proceeds to tell me sensitive information out in the open like an absolute idiot. Then she sends me to speak with Malice, and he tells me to go poison some mead. Once I get there, I have to fight off an army of skeevers, and a local homeless fella. I poison the vat, then watch Sabjorn get carted off to prison. I grab a letter from his underwear drawer, and return to Maven. Then I steal some arrows off some guards, and go back to the hideout to get my next quest. Then Mercer tells me to go find Gulamai and interrogate him. Before I do that though, I decided to go donate more money to the Temple of Mara, so I reverse pickpocket 100 gold into Maramol's inventory. I watch a man get beheaded, and in standard video game fashion, Gulamai won't tell me anything until I do something for him. So I go steal some wine, and while I'm at it, steal all the valuables from these upper class ponces. And when I return to deliver the wine, Gulamai straight up lies to me, so I tail him, steal all his stuff, sneak through the warehouse, remove his bodyguards from existence. Then because he's such a pussy, he immediately tells me everything. Now, I was going to kill him, but he's so pathetic that killing him wouldn't prove anything, so I left him alone to ponder his useless existence. I return to Mercer and tell him what I learned, and we head off to kill his ex-girlfriend, so we fight our way through Snowvale catacombs, then I get sniped by Karl and betrayed by Mercer.
Nothing personal, kid.
After being saved by Karl and dragged into her and Mercer's drama indefinitely, she sends me to meet with Enthir to translate the diary of her old boss, so we can prove to the guild that Mercer has been dodging the IRS. When doing so, however, I find out that he can't translate the diary because he didn't pass Fulmer in school, so I go to find Calcimo in Markarth, but when I speak to him he refuses to help me, and tells me that I'm not allowed in his lab. And since I can get where water can't, I steal his key from his pocket while he's looking right at me, and just break into the place, sneak past his guards, took a gander at this calcium heavy cadaver, and scribbled the Fulmer alphabet onto some paper for Enthir. Then whilst on my way back to him, Markarth somehow became flooded with water.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water.
In all seriousness, I have never had this happen to me in all the time I've spent playing Skyrim. If you know how this glitch triggered or what's happening, please let me know in the comments because I'm genuinely curious as to what's going on here. The three of us meet up in a dank basement like the criminals we are and translate Gallus's diary. Then we head to Riften to confront him. But when we arrive, it turns out he already did a runner and robbed all the guild's treasure. So I sneak into his house, murder all of his lackeys, find out where he went, then I become a nightingale, Brynjolf makes me the head of the Riften Merry Men, and we set off to get some good old fashioned revenge. We have to make our way through Erkenthan because all roads lead to Dwemer ruins apparently. When we get to him, he tries to cheat by turning invisible, but fails to realise that I can see where he is when he goes through water. I kick his ass, grab the skeleton key, and as tempting as it is to pick up the eyes of the Fulmer, it doesn't count as stealing, so I begrudgingly left them behind and escaped with my prize, and a badass bow. After this, I listened to the worst singer I've ever heard, then head to the Thalmor embassy. I tried to sneak through it without being spotted, but those pointy ears clearly aren't for show because they hear me instantly and start attacking me. I killed them all, grabbed the dossier, saved Etienne, which was pointless because he just got eaten by a frost troll, grabbed Esbern from his crack den, then I tried jumping up the side of a mountain to get into Skyhaven Temple, but that didn't work, so I had to go the long way, read Alduin's Wall, then the Greybeard screamed directly into my eardrum. I fast travelled to the throat of the world and met up with Skyrim's biggest pasta connoisseur. Then I get the shapes from Septimus and try to walk through this lift to get into Blackreach, but after trying for what seemed like hours, I couldn't get it to work, so I just went through the normal way. Grabbed the time travel toilet paper, learned the wing clipping shout, then I bullied Alduin. After that I grabbed Tullius and Ulfric for a peace council, and once we sat down, I vowed to at least put on a better show of democracy than the ones we get in the UK Parliament. Once that's done, I give all of my valuables to Constance, ride on the Odoving bus, sprint straight to Sovngarde, fight Grognak the Barbarian, and because I change merry men more than your mom changes boyfriends, I get these three melons to help me fight Alduin. And after a long battle of me just firing arrows into him whilst the merry men get their asses kicked, we finally beat him. And with that, I beat Skyrim as Robin Hood. For all intents and purposes, this was technically just a stealth archer playthrough with stealing as a focus, but I really enjoyed it. It was a nice little homage to the legends and tales of my country. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe. If there's a particular challenge you want to see me do, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you next time.